Welcome to SAT Prep Thursday. Today we're doing College Board SAT Practice Test number 10, Part 4, numbers 20 through 38. This is a calculator approved section, so I will be using either a TI-30XS or a TI-30XA. Also, there's a file link in the description for this practice test. The maximum value of a data set consisting of 25 positive integers is 84. A new data set consisting of 26 positive integers is created by including 96 in the original data set. Which of the following measure must be 12 greater than the new data set than the original data set? So we know that the range of the old was equal to 84 minus some number m. And we know that the range of the new is equal to 96 minus that same number m. Now, there is a change of 12 right there in what the maximum is. So we're dealing with the range that would change. Clayton will mix X milliliters of a 10% by mass saline solution with Y milliliters of a 20% by mass saline solution in order to create an 18% by mass saline solution. The equation above represents this situation. If Clayton uses 100 milliliters of the 20% by mass saline solution, how many milliliters of the 10% by mass saline solution must be used? So what we're dealing with is 0.1 times X plus 0.2 times 100, and this is going to be equal to 0.18 times X minus 100. So let's get rid of all of these parentheses and say 0.1x plus 20 is equal to 0.18x plus 18. Let's gather all the x's on the same side so that we have 0.08x. And this is going to be equal to 2. So 2 divided by 0.08 is going to give us 25 is x. B is the answer. The first year Eleanor organized a fundraising event, she invited 30 people. For each of the next 5 years, she invited double the number of people she had invited the previous year. If f of n is the number of people invited to the fundraiser and years after Eleanor began organizing the event, which of the following statements best describes the function f? So I think it's really easy to start out by saying what we have is that y is going to be equal to 30 the first year. And the second year, she doubled it, so it was times 2. But every year after that, she doubled it again, which means we would wind up with a t. So now we have a function. This is definitely not a decreasing function because what we're dealing with is there's more people every year. And we're not dealing with a linear function, which means that we're left with D as the answer. Some values of x and their corresponding values of y are shown in the table above, where a is a constant. If there is a linear relationship between x and y, which of the following equation represents this relationship? So it's linear, which means we're dealing with y is mx plus b. Let's go find what our slope is by choosing two of these points. So if we chose these 2 points, for example, we would wind up with negative 2a minus a negative a over 5a minus 3a. This would give us a negative a over 2a, which would give us a negative 1/2 as the slope. So looking at this equation, I have y is equal to negative 1/2 x plus b. Multiplying everything by 2, I would have 2y is equal to negative x plus b, or that x plus 2y is equal to b. So I need an x plus 2y, and that means c and d are both eliminated. Now, if I were to use this point 0a and substitute it into this equation, x would be a, b would be 0, y would be 0, and we'd wind up with a b. So we'd wind up with a is equal to b, meaning this had to be A over here and not B, so A is our answer. The scatter plot above shows the number of registered voters, X, and the number of people who voted in the last election, Y, for 7 districts in a town. A line of best fit for the data is also shown. Which of the following could be the equation of the line of best fit? So I think a good way to get started with something like this would be to go find the slope. And these 2 points happen to go through these nice intersections. This intersection is at 120, 0, and this is at 160, 80. So if we find the slope, we would wind up with the change of y, which is 80 minus 60, over the change of x, which is 160 minus 120, and this would be equal to 0.5. It is a positive slope, so I need a 0.5, and B is the only answer. The system of equations above is graphed in the xy plane. What is the x-coordinate of the intersection xy of the system? So I'm going to multiply this entire bottom equation by 3. And by multiplying it by 3, I can get a corresponding y value. So first I copy the 2.4x minus 1.5y is equal to 0.3. 3 times 1.6 is going to give me 4.8x, and 3 times 0.5 is going to give me a 1.5y. 3 times negative 1.3 will give me a negative 3.9. Now my y's eliminate. This gives me 7.2x is equal to negative 3.6, or x is equal to 0.5. Sorry, a negative 0.5, which gives us A is the answer. Keith modeled the growth over several hundred years of a tree population by estimating the number of the tree's pollen grains per square centimeter that were deposited each year within layer of a lake's sediment. He estimated there were 310 pollen grains per square centimeter the first year the grains were deposited, with a 1% annual increase in the number of grains per square centimeter thereafter. Which of the following functions models P of T, the number of pollen grains per square centimeter, T years after the first grains were deposited? So the thing is, I know that we start with a y is ab to the x. This has to be an exponential, and it does show it here. And y is not y, but p of t. And x is not x, but it's going to be t. So I need 2 things multiplied to a t power. At this point, I get to eliminate b as an answer. I also get to eliminate a as an answer. A 1% annual increase means that we're dealing with 1.01. So this has to be a 1.01 inside the parentheses. That's going to eliminate C, leaving us with D as the answer. Based on the equation above, what is the value of 3x minus 2? This means that we're going to go ahead and have to get rid of these parentheses. So if I distribute the parentheses, what I wind up with is 2 over 3 times 9, which is 6, and it's an x. And 2 over 3 times 6 is times a negative 6 is a negative 4. I have that minus 4, and this is equal to 9x minus 6. Let's gather all the x's on the same side so that 9 minus 6 would give us 3x. Now we're going to move 6 to the other side, so it's going to become a plus 6. Negative 4 minus 4 is negative 8, plus 6 is negative 2. So negative 2 over 3 is equal to x. But remember, what we're after is 3x minus 2. This means that 3 times negative 2 over 3 minus 2 is equal to what they're after. Those 3's cancel. We wind up with a negative 2 minus 2, which is negative 4. A is the answer. The function f is defined above. If k is a positive integer, which of the following could be represented by the graph y is equal to f of x in the xy plane? Let's start with, in this, I see that it is a positive integer, or a positive polynomial, which means I'm going to wind up with a smiley face. This means that I can eliminate both A and B as answers. I can also see that it's going to cross the x-axis at negative 3 and at a positive k. C crosses the x-axis at -2, which is not -3. D crosses at -3, which is what we're after, which means actually K would be 2, but D is our answer. The formula above can be used to approximate the height h in inches of an adult male based on the height L in inches of his femur. What is the meaning of the 1.88 in this context? So we're looking for this 1.88, which is located right here, times L. And L is the inches of femur, so it's a multiplying by the femur. We're not trying to find the femur length, we're trying to find the height of that person. So the approximate, again, increase of femur length, we get to eliminate that. The approximate increase in femur length, eliminate that again. Really, everything comes down to that whole beginning where h is equal to, the height is equal to. So D is the answer. In the quadrilateral ABCD above, AD is parallel to BC, and CD is 1/2 AB. What is the measure of angle B? So let's go ahead and, since we're trying to find out this total angle, and we know that this is 360 in total, let's drop a line down, create an E so that we have all of these right angles. It means this much right here is 90 and this much right here is 90. We know that CD is equal to 1/2 of AB. So this line here is also 1/2 of AB. Now, I am immediately, because of the 1/2, really reminded of a particular triangle where if I had an A, B, and now I'm going to put E so that they're showing equal here. If I had side length x, I would have hypotenuse 2x, and I would have this side being x square root of 3. This is a 30, 60, 90 triangle. So 30 degrees here, 60 degrees here. And this is our ABE. So this angle right here is 60 degrees. This 60 degrees and this 90 degrees means that what we're ending up with is 60 plus our 90 to get 150 degrees. A is the answer. Lynn has $8 to spend on apples and oranges. Apples cost 65 cents and oranges cost 75 cents each. If there is no tax on this particular purchase and she is buying 5 apples, what is the maximum number of whole oranges she can buy? So 5 times 65 cents plus some unknown amount of oranges at 75 cents, and this has to be less than or equal to $8. This means that I'm looking at x is going to be less than or equal to 8 minus 5 times 0.65 divided by 0.75, which means that x has to be less than or equal to 6.33, but we need whole oranges. We can't buy 0.33 of an orange. This means that 6 is our answer. It's important to note that the figure is not drawn to scale. In the triangle above, A is equal to 34. What is the value of B plus C? Well, if A is 34, and we know that all the interior angles of a triangle are equal to 180 degrees, 180 minus 34 means 146 is our answer. If the mean of the 5 numbers above is 1600, what is the value of x? Mean means that we are adding all of these up and dividing by the number. It's an average. So adding 700, 1200, 1600, and 2000 will give us 5,500 plus x, and this is divided by 5, and it's going to be equal to 1600. So x is 1600 times 5 minus 5500, which means that x is 2500. The relationship between x and y can be written as y is equal to mx, where m is a constant. If y is equal to 17 when x is equal to a, what is the value of y when x is equal to 2a? Well, it means we start with 17 is equal to MA, and that from there, A is equal to 17 over M. So 2A would be equal to 2 times 17 over M, which is 34 over M. So if we substitute this into our equation, y is equal to mx, then y would be equal to m times 34 over m. The m's would cancel, and y would be equal to 34. In the equation above, a and b are constants. If the equation has infinitely many solutions for x, what is the value of b? So we're going to distribute this and get ax plus ab is equal to 4x plus 10. From this, we can tell that ax is equal to 4x and that ab is equal to 10. Since ax is equal to 4x, then what we get is that a is equal to 4, because those x's would cancel. With a being equal to 4, I would wind up with ab equals 10. That means 4b equals 10, or b is equal to 10 over 4, meaning 5 over 2. In the xy plane, a line has the equation y is equal to c. For some constant c, intersects the parabola at exactly 1 point. If the parabola has equation y is equal to negative x squared plus 5x, what is the value of c? So what I know is this is a frowny face parabola, and if a line touches it only once, it touches it right here at its maximum, which would be the middle. So looking at this, I would wind up with y is negative x times x minus 5. This means there's 2 points. One is 0 and one is 5. The middle is where the axis of symmetry, which is where the maximum would occur. And the middle of 0 and 5 is 2.5. So I'm going to ask what happens to this parabola when x is 2.5, meaning y is negative times 2.5 squared plus 5 times 2.5. This is going to give me that y is equal to 6.25. But remember that y is equal to c, so that is my c value. Questions 37 and 38 refer to the following information. The peregrine falcon can reach speeds up to 200 miles per hour while diving to catch prey. Make it the fastest animal on the planet when in a dive. What is a peregrine falcon's maximum speed while diving to catch prey in feet per second? You're going to round your answer to the nearest whole number. Let's remember that 1 mile is equal to 5,280 feet. Back up. It gave us miles per hour. And what we want to turn it into is feet per second. This means that we're going to multiply that miles per hour into feet per mile as a conversion. That would eliminate those miles. And then we're going to turn hours into seconds. That would eliminate the hours part. So we'd have feet per second. Well, it had 200 miles per 1 hour. And we multiply that by 5280 over 1. And we multiply that by 1 over 3600 seconds. So the ones obviously don't really matter. Just by using our calculator, we wind up finding 293.33 feet per second. If the peregrine falcon dove at a maximum speed for half a mile to catch its prey, how many seconds would the dive take? And round your answer to the nearest second. So we're looking at a ratio where we have 200 miles in 1 hour, and this is going to be equal to 0.5 miles in how many hours? Now, we're not really worried about these labels here, but that way we could set up this ratio. This means that x would be equal to 0.5 divided by 200, giving us that x is 0.0025. Now, this is a per hour number, so we're going to take that 0.0025, we're going to multiply it by the number of minutes in an hour and the number of seconds in a minute. This is going to give us 9 seconds.